So I wanted to make this video just so I can help somebody else who's going through what I went through with anxiety and social anxiety and depression, and stuff like that. Because I have been through it, and I wish that there was somebody in my life that could have helped me, because I did things and took different pathways that I probably shouldn't have, and I'm still dealing with it, but it's 100 times better. It's not something that's gonna go away super quickly, and it's something that you have to fight for, to want to get rid of and control, because it's your mind, and your mind has such a huge effect on your body already. So, and once that when you feel like you don't have your mind, when you feel like you can't control your thoughts, that's a hard thing to accept. I think I've always had anxiety, really, since I was younger. I've had some things go on in my past when I was younger that kind of, I think, affected me, So I've always been an anxious type of person. Like, when I would go to people's houses, I would always feel like I was getting sick, and I would have to call my mom and tell her to come and get me because I didn't want to stay over there anymore. And I would go to sleepaway camp, and I would hate going. I'd get there and I'd feel like I was going to throw up. And, chances are I worked myself up so much that I would throw up. And then right after I threw up, I would be okay. It was weird. It was really weird. But even as I got older, I was, I didn't have social anxiety. I just had a generalized anxiety, or whatever you want to call it. And, so I was pretty outgoing and social, and I didn't have social anxiety. And I think there's a big difference between social anxiety and just generalized anxiety. Fast forward a little bit, and I, started hanging around guys and stuff like that. And, for some reason, I would just feel like I was going to throw up around guys. Like, I couldn't go on dates. And this was even into, till I want to say, June, sophomore year. I would be around guys. If I was around guys, and it was a group, me and girls and some guys, and we were just hanging out, I would always feel like I was going to get sick. Always. Then I found marijuana, which is, I don't know, it helped me. It calmed me down. I wasn't feeling like I was going to throw up. When I was around people, I could go on dates and, hang out. And so I started going to parties, and I started hanging on other people who smoke, and I was drinking. And, it wasn't super excessive, but it was not what I should have been doing. But I felt like that was my savior. Like, I was okay as long as I was doing that. I remember prom night, after we were leaving, we had a limo, and I was just got in there, and I was so scared that I was going to throw up in front of everybody. And I had to breathe and sit next to the window and calm myself down. And then when we were leaving, I don't know, we were going to get back in the limo, and I was like, oh my God, we're in a small space. If I throw up, everybody's going to be like, what the hell? This is disgusting. So I worked myself up again, and there's a picture of me with my head laying down by the window, and everybody else around me is like, yeah. And I'm laid by the window, looking so sad. It looks like an anxiety commercial. But once we got to the after party and I could smoke weed, I was fine. And we could drink, I was fine. Everything, I was fine. And so I thought that was my cure or whatever. So that's when I got put on Paxil. And that was right before I'd went away to college. And it was like a whole new world. When I got put on Paxil, I even when I wasn't smoking, there was no anxiety, there was no anything, and it was just amazing. You know, I felt free and I was happy and I didn't have to worry anymore, and it was just really one of the best things that I ever did. Then I went on a trip, and with these girls that I worked with, you know, and I was so excited and I was so outgoing because the Pax was working. I was smoking weed and I just thought that I was just the coolest thing ever, I guess. So I went on this trip, and for some reason, when we left this club and we went to Waffle House, some reason I just got like freaked out. I don't know what it was. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to blame the other people that were with me because it's not their fault. It's something that was already inside of me, and it happened, and I don't know, I just freaked out. And I was like, asking the person driving, I was like, where are we going? What are we doing? Like, you had said something to me, and, you know, I really felt like this. I felt like she had said something to me, and I felt like I just felt like I was going to die. I don't know why. I don't know if it was the combination of my anxiety medicine and Adderall and smoking weed and, you know, just doing the most. And smoking cigarettes, too. So it was just like all bad things, and I just freaked out. And so I don't think that they took that. You know, I don't blame them, because when people are in a situation that's scary to them or unusual, they're going to kind of be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So, you know, that's fine. I don't have any ill will towards the people that I was with. I really don't, because I see now that everything happens for a reason, and I was supposed to go on that trip so that I could go through the next events that were going to happen in my life, because I needed them. I needed them to be the person that I am now. I needed them to have the things that I have now. And, you know, basically, they didn't take it so well. So it was kind of like a turned against me kind of thing. And I had to stay the rest of the trip with them just kind of talking crap about me the whole way, and me just kind of sitting there and doing nothing. And it was, you know, because I was just scared. I just didn't know what to do, you know. 3 hours away from home. Like, I didn't think that I could call my mom and be like, come get me 3 hours away, you know. So I was just kind of like, whatever. And they just kind of talked crap about me the whole time, and I'm just sitting there just kind of taking it, and which is one thing that I thought that I would never forgive myself for, because I just wasn't that type of person. But I think when you're in a situation, you know, you never know how you're going to react. So basically, I got home and I don't know. I just didn't, I don't really know. I pushed everybody away and just kind of became lonely and stuck to myself. You know, I tried to smoke again to help everything, and I felt like when I smoked that it was worse. I was paranoid. I was so paranoid. And, you know, I think it just scared the people that I was with, and I didn't know what to do, because smoking weed was my thing. That was my thing. That was what I did to get over my anxiety. But now it brought more on me, because I was so paranoid and I just didn't know what to do, and I would shake and all types of things, and it was just crazy. And, you know, it's crazy to me, but it's crazy to people around me, and the people around me are kind of like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to talk about it, because this is not me. This is not the Jessica that you guys know. And so that was really hard. So I lost a lot of, not even lost, I stopped talking to a lot of people. Stopped talking to a lot of friends that I'd been friends with for years, like years and years and years. And, you know, I just kind of was by myself. And thankfully I had my sister. And, you know, I felt like she understood, and I felt like she wasn't going to judge me, because she's my sister and she has to be my sister and she has to love me. That's what I thought. And so Then I found drinking. And I started drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And, that was one way that I felt like I could be okay. I felt like if I was drunk, then I was my old self. So I clung to that feeling of, oh yeah, I want people to know, this is the real me. This is the real Jessica. So I'm going to drink till I'm drunk and crazy. And that's what I thought that people liked. And I remember spending the nights like by myself in my room. My room became this place where it was safe. So I stayed there. And I was working with my mom, so I didn't have to have any outside interaction really. I was in my room. I wasn't talking to anybody, so I started watching YouTube and watching videos and just kind of trying to work on my outside appearance, because I thought that if my outside was beautiful, then the inside would be. And that's totally not the case, because I still was a mess on the inside. Basically, after asking God why and being like, why is this happening, and going to therapy and being on different medicines and all types of stuff, and, trying to figure out what happened. And I felt like no therapist was working. I felt like they didn't care about what I had to say. I felt like they didn't really want to get to the root problem. So I stopped going. And I'd go to a new one, and then I'd stop going, and I wouldn't give them a chance because I didn't feel like any of them really wanted to figure out why this had happened to me. So I started reading. I read The Power of Positive Thinking, and, some other books that were just like, teaching me basically how to help myself and how to think positive. And, and I know they say like, oh, the way to get better is to, go and put yourself in situations and stuff like that. But it's hard when your heart starts beating super fast and you feel shaky and you're freaking out, when you're in a social situation. So by this time I had figured out that I had social anxiety, because I would just think that I was just staring at everybody, like out the corner of my eye. And I'd think that everybody was like, what's wrong with her? She's crazy. She is staring at me. And I would just freak out. After that, I took time off, and, I was still working with my mom, and I was just kind of doing the same thing. I was just drinking and going out because I wanted to experience being young. Like, I felt like I was just losing who I was, and I thought that partying and going out was what was going to help me. I'm still on anxiety medicine, but I'm figuring out different ways, and I'm taking control of my life and what I want to do, and I'm getting better. And I'm realizing that it's only me who's really going to be able to help myself, because I need to be able to think positively in these situations. I need to be able to say, who cares, like, what anybody thinks about me, and I need to be able to put that into action, because I can say that all day, and the next thing I know, if I go out and sit down, for dinner, and I'm freaking out, that's not gonna come, I'm not gonna think about that. So I know this is long, but my thing is, I just want people to know that you really have to want to kind of get over this, and you really have to know that everything happens for a reason. The universe is not going to give you something that's not going to humble you or make you better, and that's what I think that this is for. I think that I went through what I went through so that I can become a better person.